Well, hello everybody. It's nice to be back live streaming once again. Thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Dr. Wayne Phimister, and tonight's subject is the NeuroCycle. So what is the NeuroCycle? Well, this is a term coined up by Dr. Caroline Leaf, and she is a neuroscientist for about 38 years. I've been working on this for a long time, and a couple of years ago she did a research study showing the clinical benefits of her NeuroCycle to clear up the mental mess, as she very aptly says in her book, Clearing Up the Mental Mess. So tonight we're going to dive into this. We touched on it a week ago, and I'll be sharing my story about this and also some of the tips to kind of get going with it, because I think it's a great tool to help us in our daily basis with our chronic pain and with the struggles we have in our mind. Because let's face it, we've all got thoughts all day, we've all emotions that happen all the time, and we need to manage that. And her scientifically proven NeuroCycle is amazing at really grasping with this thing called neuroplasticity to change how your brain is. Okay, so the 5 steps to this cycle is to gather information, number 1. So you may have a situation like, for example, I'll share my story. Last week I started on this NeuroCycle, so I'm in day 8. So I get white fingers. My white fingers just went away before I came on, so you can't see them. But I get Raynaud's phenomenon and white fingers due to chronic stress. So you gather information about it, right? I've got white fingers. Today it's worse, and in fact this week it has been a bit more worse because I've been focusing on it, which is a kind of classic response to anything that you're looking at with stress and make it worse before it gets better. You know, another subject matter that you can look at could be self-sabotage. That was something that came up this week with somebody, as well as PTSD and an event that happened at work. So you can pick any event in your life, physical, mental, emotional, or social. Okay, so you pick an event and you gather information about it. The second step is to reflect. Well, what's going on? Well, I've got fingers and it goes white when I'm driving my car or making dinner just before I came on behind those screens there. So that was, you spend about a minute or a bit more, up to 5 minutes on each different section. So gather information and then reflect on it. Yeah, my fingers have been worse this week. Okay, why is that? Well, and you give your reasons. So you're just thinking about it, reflect on it. Then the next level is the writing. So get those pads of paper out and write, or your phone, or your iPad, or your PC, or whatever you're using to document. And this is a way of writing down those ideas about your issue, right? So, I was reflecting on this week and writing those things down in my journal that I do on an evening basis, reflecting on the day. And it was a good way just to, give it some concrete thought as well as a written instructions or written exercise. Because when we write, we have coherence in our brain, which just means it makes a bit more sense to ourselves when we write things down. So that would be for about 1 to 5 minutes. Now the 4th section on this is rechecking. So rechecking is all about tapping back into, what did you write? Think about it a little bit more, making a little bit more sense now. And it certainly will if you continue to do this every day. And the idea is to pick one thing and work on it every day. And the last section is to active reach or action. Do something about it. Okay, so whatever you're struggling with or working on, it could be calling a friend, it could be deciding to get out of bed 5 minutes earlier, or clean up the house before bedtime, so you're not exhausted at the end of the day. So it could be whatever is appropriate for your issue. So these are the 5 different cycles. Each are about 1 minute to 5 minutes. And what happens is that within the first week, something amazing within the dendrite structure of the neurons, which is basically a part of the nerve cells, is you get a little budding, and they actually showed this, a little budding of the nerves. Imagine a budding on a tree with a new a branch about to emerge. So literally changes in the structure of the neurons at the stage first week. And this is the toughest time because you're diving into deep issues maybe, and it's a struggle to write it down, it's a struggle to remember, it's a struggle to do it. But if you commit to it, you start to change your brain. And then you continue with this process for another 2 weeks. And by then, things are becoming a little bit more clear. You know, you've maybe got some directive to do things differently or behave differently. And you think, yeah, I've got this, right? So you continue with this. But it's not until another 6 weeks, so 9 weeks total, or 63 days, that habit that you're creating becomes automatic. So just like riding a bike, you know, once you can do it, you can do it. Well, it takes about 63 days for the brain to be neuroplastic. It's interesting because at the beginning of this second wave, so you've done the first week, and you get the budding, and then by the end of the third week, what actually happens on the dendrite or the neuron is a mushroom. So imagine a little mushroom protruding from the branch of the tree or the neuron. Then it's literally forming a new stage of development, and then that just continues to grow and becomes a new reality in your brain, and therefore a new reality in your life, because the studies that she was doing looked at not just MRI pictures, but looked at qualitative EEGs, that's the electrical impulses going around the brain from the sleep state all the way up to the super active, as well as the super concentrating state of gamma. It also looks at hormonal levels like homocysteine and cortisol, and also narrative reports of the patients was reported on. So you get real in-time changes that are being expressed through writing. And this was studied up to 63 days with our group of patients. And I think the overall results was 80% success rate in clearing up the mental mess, or clearing up that mental situation. So that's the little NeuroCycle that I've started to do myself. I've started to share it with some patients, and encourage you to have a look at that and try it on for good measure. Because if you do something for 63 days, and it can just be one thing, and I recommend if you're going to do this, just do one thing. It's too much to look at many things. Just do one thing. And then at the end of the cycle, you can either do it again, or you can pick another subject. But most subject matters will be resolved in 63 days. So there you go. There's some little tips from the very popular Caroline Leaf, who's written many books over her career. The latest one, as it is, called Clearing Up the Mental Mess. So listen, please leave your comments. It's good to see you. Thanks for listening today. And in the future, when you listen to this, you take care, and I look forward to next week's live stream for yet another share on how to heal chronic pain from the inside out. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining the course. I look forward to seeing you next time.